Hello Internet and welcome back to our Magiclysm playthrough. We're playing as a Druid and we're in the process of clearing out an armory. I'm so tired of being in the lab. I think that we're going to be moving on in the near future. Unfortunately, okay, all we found this really crappy town, which we've already pretty much looted except for the bank, which we might check out as we're leaving. And the only other thing we found are these two labs, and we've explored one, which, is fun. It's fun to explore a lab. Problem is, the smart thing is to go explore the other lab. Like, that's what we should be doing. That's what, if you were playing this casually, the smartest thing you can do in the early game is hit the labs, right? If you can hit a lab early, get in and get stuff and get out, especially, like, we found a pickaxe, which enabled us to get in here in the first place. If you have that, you need to be looting the lab because the lab has tons of good stuff, and the longer you wait to infiltrate the lab, the higher tiered the monsters will be. So, like, we're on day 9, we're only encountering like security guards, a couple zombie soldiers. We've met the bio-operators, which were by far the scariest thing that we've come across, and we took care of them because we found really great stuff in the lab. Did we smash him? We did. The problem is, if we instead of going to that other lab, let's say we go and we decide, we're going to go explore, we're going to settle in a permanent base area, we're going to set up a forge, we're going to do that, we're going to build up a cool vehicle, and then we came back in like a month to loot this lab, all of a sudden those security zombies are going to be crazy scary stuff that we probably wouldn't be able to take very easily. So looting now is definitely the smart play. The problem is, I've already done it. Like, I've done one whole lab at this point. And admittedly, it was a small lab. We only had, I think, 3 floors in this lab, which is really, really tiny compared to most labs. I think most labs trend towards 4, 5, or 6 floors. Barrett magazine, but no Barrett. This is a bummer. Hard arm guards, pretty good. Unfortunately, Magiclysm takes arm encumbrance into account. More flechette rounds as well, which are pretty valuable. Again, these are for our auto shotgun. Actually, what has to be, right? 5x50 is the rifle, though. That's interesting. I didn't know you could have a flechette round that wasn't a shot shell. I thought flechette meant it's like little razor blades. Designed to defeat modern body armor, flechette round features a biodegradable sabot. So sabot, if you don't know, is like you can think of it like a container, sort of. So, like, let's say you're shooting a 12 gauge shotgun, and you want to use, like bird shot in it. This is a terrible example. So, like, let's say you are firing a Magnum handgun, right? You're firing a 45. Well, you want to fire a 22 round. What you can do is make a sabot that fits in that gun, that 45 caliber gun's barrel, and will fire safely from that gun. But when it emerges from the barrel, it will split off and fire a singular 22 round. I think is how that works. Don't hate me. Probably going to get a lot of nasty comments about how stupid I am. But whatever. A sabot is like a container that fits a different gun. I don't know how to explain. I don't know guns. Don't hate me. I'm sorry. And a single fin stabilized penetrator. So whatever. It comes out of the caseless rifle, I guess. So, man, I probably should not have tried to give an explanation of something I don't know very much about. Anyway, first time I ever heard of a sabot was in Deus Ex, which I'm currently playing so that I can put it up on the channel. And in that, there were sabot shotgun rounds, and I remember being a kid and calling them Sabot rounds, which is apparently incorrect. And then I remember the Mythbusters did something with a sabot at some point. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so we've looted pretty much this whole lab at this point. I just don't think there's that much here for us anymore. In fact, I know there's not very much here for us anymore. And I don't know. It might be prudent to put the SIG in our holster, actually. Or maybe the 5.7 is damaged. One of these that has a higher ammo capacity. Actually not seeing just the SIG, I guess. is the only high capacity pistol we have. What is the damage on the... Oops. What is the damage? No, pickup. What is the damage on a Glock? Here's a Glock loaded with 9mm. Does not say. Let's page down. I hate that I have to page down. 26 damage. Okay. Or 25. I wasn't paying that much attention. Where's the SIG? SIG. Page down. That's dispersion. 44 damage. Oh, 223. Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to swap to the SIG. I mean, honestly, it's more about the ammo capacity and the damage than it is about the ammo type. We have a pretty healthy stock of ammo at this point from hitting these lab armories. Most of it is for caseless and 40mm, but we did find an abundance of 9mm, and we found some, was it 5.56 or 2.23? Aren't they the same round? I don't know guns. Don't hate me. Really showing my ignorance in this episode. I thought we found a bunch. Oh no, it was 7.62 we found, I guess. Okay. Okay. It's fine. So, I see we're maxed out on mana. Can we cast this? 70% failure chance, and you need your hands free. You know, I really wanted to play Magiclysm. I know I've complained about this a lot. The fact that we have to unwield our weapon, and the fact that we basically can't cast if we have a bunch of encumbrance. Honestly, I don't think we're going to do much with Magic. I know that you're probably here because you wanted to watch a Magiclysm Let's Play. What are we taking off the gloves? But honestly, the fact that I can't cast, unless there are weapons in the game that allow you to cast with them in your hand. So for instance, one would think that the quarterstaff, given that it is a staff, you would think it would have the ability to be held while casting, because wizards use staves and things. I don't think that that's how it works, though, and I don't know that there's really much that we can hold in our hands while casting. And because of that, I don't want it. I don't want to do Magic if it requires me to get naked and take off my weapon. I just don't want to do it. It's not worth it. Our hands need to be free. Did we not just unwield it? Are we wielding something? We're wielding our gauntlets? Of course we are. Why wouldn't we be? That makes perfect sense. Let's cast the Bless spell on ourselves just to get rid of some of this mana that we've built up. And then we can put our things back on. Like, this is so tedious to have to put these things on and off just so I can cast the spell. I don't like that at all. I understand, you know, most games give some kind of penalty based on your encumbrance. Like D&D, of course, I think famously armor and shields and things really reduced your magical abilities. But I hate it. I don't like it at all. And it makes me not want to use magic, which is kind of the whole thing, you know, with Magiclysm. I think for the time being, why don't we... I mean, we could go out and start packing up our stuff into our vehicle and get ready for transitioning out into a different location. But I sort of think that that's pretty freaking boring, and I don't think you want to watch that. So I'll probably do that off camera at some point. And then when we come back, we'll have the car packed and ready to go. I don't think there's anything else I'm really interested in. So I think we'll do a little skill training. Survival's at 2, 96% of 2. Why don't we see if we can pop that over really quick into something higher. Requires skill 2. I mean, we can just waste some of these wild vegetables that we're probably not going to eat all of anyway. So we'll go ahead and make some stems out of them that will raise our survival. Presumably the rest of the way to 3. Okay, great. And now we have stems, which if we ever get around to planting things, we could plant. Although I would never plant them because they're wild vegetables. They're trash, right? So I'm not super concerned about that. We are hot. No, we are warm on our torso. We'll go ahead and pop off the turnout coat while we hang around the base. Just because. Much more comfortable. Still a little warm, but it should go away. It's funny, we're listed as irradiated again, even though we just checked in the last episode and it said we had no radiation. We have radiation again. I don't know why. I guess, is there just ambient radiation in the lab? That's got to be it, right? We've been irradiated off and on the whole time that we've been here. I thought it was the mini nukes, but then we moved them so far away and we haven't been near the mini nukes. Like one is way, I think, over here, and then the other one was like 2 floors away, I think. So I don't think it's that. I don't know why we're irradiated. Really kind of irritating. Maybe it's because we were eating food. Maybe the food was radiated. I don't know. So we've eaten trash today. Why don't we get a couple actual calories in us? We'll go ahead and make some of these eggs. We'll boil the 1 egg that is the remaining bird egg to get that out of here. You cough heavily. That's okay. And we will make, I guess we'll cook some of the other eggs. Cracklins, I guess. We'll make a batch of deluxe scrambled eggs. Problem is also we only have 1 charge of our bee balm left, so we really ought to go out and be looking for more bee balm. But honestly, I'd rather be dead, I think, than to go out and hunt for like the 4th time for bee balm because this godforsaken cold. And remember, we also looted like this entire lab. Never found a gamma globulin shot, which could have nipped this common cold in the bud pretty easy. Decided not to work in our favor. Can't make pine tea because that needs a recipe book because apparently it's super hard to make pine tea. I guess my character is just one of the stupidest people on the planet. Can't just put pine needles in a cup and boiled water and make some tea. So that's, unfortunate because that could be used to raise our health stat. Why don't we, what do we want to raise here? We could grind our cooking, but we don't have a lot of materials for that. We could grind our fab because we're going to need much, much higher levels of fab as we progress through the game. We could gather up some rags. I think we probably have 1 million rags already. We could work on our tailoring, although I do not know if we ever picked up a kit. We did, so we will pick up a sewing kit. Where would our rags be? In the miscellaneous pile, I suppose. Rag. 280 rags. Yeah, why don't we grind tailoring a little bit? Tailoring is level 1, so we will focus on our tailoring. Again, we just need to kill some time, I think, until we're ready to leave. And we'll be leaving in, I think, the next episode. Between now and the next episode, I will move all of our stuff upstairs into the vehicle, or at least the things of value that we want to take with us. I think we're going to be making leg warmers because they only take 5 minutes. Actually, if we're trying to pass time, we should focus on something that takes a little bit longer. Do we really want to pass time, though? Does it really matter? I think we just craft... Who cares? Just craft the leg warmers. We'll do that. It'll take 30 minutes. I assume that'll be enough to level us up. I'm not 100%. Feel a sneeze coming on. Gonna fight it. Anyway, what's going on with me? Of course, we ran out of thread for some reason because we're failures and we destroy the thread and rags over and over. The Cataclysm failure system for crafting is infuriating. We don't want to do that. Do we have string? We have 4 long strings, which we can convert into thread. We will butcher the long string into small strings, and we will butcher the small string into thread because that takes less in-game time than butchering a rag. Butchering a rag takes like 30 minutes, and butchering a small string takes like, 6 minutes. I don't remember what it said. And we will continue our craft. Yes. I got pulled over the other week. I don't know if I ever talked about that. What's our tailoring at? 80%. We'll make a couple more leg warmers. Leg warmers. Survival. Oh, no, we don't want splints. We'll make 3, and we will use plant fiber. Oh, shouldn't have used plant fiber, because now if we fail, we wouldn't have been able to finish because we didn't have any more plant fiber. We couldn't have used thread, I don't think. Or maybe you can. I don't know. Anyway, we got our tailoring to level 2, which is what we were shooting for. I mean, we could study spellcraft. Honestly, I'm going to play with the new monsters. I'm going to fight the new monsters, that kind of stuff that occur in Magiclysm. I'm probably going to make potions and things. But the actual casting of spells, unless they change the mechanics and make it, or if we find a weapon that can be wielded and held while casting, then maybe. But I just feel that the limitations on your ability to wield weapons and wear armor, it's just too much. It's a little bit too high. I know, I hear what you're saying. You're saying you can work around that. You're absolutely right. I don't want to work around that. Like, that's what it comes down to, is that I really like Cataclysm, and I like playing Cataclysm the way I play Cataclysm. And if I have to deviate from that to play as a Magic character, I don't really want that. What I was hoping for is a Magic system that will fit with my play style, and that's really not what I've gotten. So, no disrespect intended, not trying to badmouth Korg or anyone who contributed to the project. I just, I just don't think it's for me, and there's nothing wrong with it not being for me, I hope nobody takes that personally. It's not meant to be personal. I don't foresee me doing anything with that. You can make some balaclavas. Requires a very small amount of thread, which will save us some grief. Why don't we screw it, we'll make 10 balaclavas, because why not? Who doesn't like a balaclava? Yeah, I got pulled over. Was just driving to work, and I had a car come up behind me. It was 45 right there. I was going 45 miles an hour. I'm a good law-abiding individual, going the speed limit, and I had somebody shoot up behind me, and I was like, man, this guy's really speeding, because he went from like a mile back to right on my bumper within within 30 seconds. And I was like, man, that guy is just tailgating the shit out of me right now. And then they turned their headlights off, and I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, like, is this some country bumpkin? Am I about to experience like Deliverance style redneck violence against me? And like, I slowed way down because I don't want some idiot behind me with their headlight. I figured it was some teenagers just being douchey or whatever, thinking they're cool. When I was a teenager, I had a friend who would try to drive with his headlights off to be cool, which is the stupidest freaking thing I've ever heard. There's a fly that is currently plaguing me. Excuse me. Try to focus back in on the conversation. I flicked his lights off, and it freaked me out. And I was like, what is this person doing? Why are they behind me like that? Why are they driving with their headlights off? Slowed way down, and they like passed me. I got in the other lane, and they passed me, and I was like, good, I don't want to deal with them. And I slowed way down so that they would get away from me, because I didn't want to deal with them. And then I came up over a light, and they slammed in behind me again. And I was like, what is happening? And then they put their lights on, and I was like, oh, it's a cop who apparently felt like being a douche and really just being, hassling me basically and giving me some trouble when he could have just pulled me over if he wanted to pull me over. So I pulled over, of course, because that's what you do. Where's our B-bomb? B-bomb. Out of B-bomb. Not good. We're going to sleep. Again, probably should go out and gather more B-bomb, but I really just don't feel like doing that. Because we've done that literally like 5 times since we started this series. And I really hate this cold, really sick of this cold. Don't understand why we're not over it yet. I'm tempted to debug it away, but that is cheating, and I feel like YouTube would crucify me. So, get pulled over. Guy comes up. He says, I'm trooper whoever from the state, whatever. And he's like, I need your license and your registration. So I get him my license and registration. And he says, so how you doing tonight? Anything illegal in the car? I say, no, because of course not. He says, you haven't been smoking weed? And I was like, no. Like, what? No. He's like, you've been drinking? I said, no, I haven't had a drink in months, actually. He's like, oh, are you currently on any medications? And I was like, what is, I don't know what he wants from me. I said, yes. I take multiple mental health medications. I take them, at this point, it's like 3 in the morning. So I was like, I usually take them around 6 or 7 a.m. when I go to bed. So I haven't had one in like 20 hours since I've taken my last dose. He's like, okay, well, I need you to stay here. I'm going to run your license and everything. He goes back. And then, like, literally, like, 5.5 seconds, like, he doesn't even go back to his car. He comes back, he throws my registration and stuff into my lap, like, through the window in my lap. And he's like, well, we got a call. You have a tail light. You have a light over your license plate is out. Get it fixed. And then they drive away. And I was like, I don't understand, I don't understand why you needed to tailgate me like that. I understand they were probably checking because maybe they couldn't tell with the headlights if you could see the license plate. He said, "Oh, it has to be out to 50 feet. You have to be able to detect what the license plate is." So I guess they turned off their lights to see if my light was out. But like, you don't think it's weird to like super tailgate somebody, then turn off your lights and then ask them if they're high, basically, like I was driving like a maniac? It just really bothered me. I know it's not a big deal. It's such a small, inconsequential thing, but like, it really bothered me. I don't mind getting pulled over. I don't mind the police. I know a lot of people hate the police and have a real problem with the police. I really don't. I've always viewed it like, and I have a checkered past. Like, I have some problems with the law in my past, and I still don't hate the police, because at the end of the day, they're mostly just helpful people, in my experience. I know, again, unpopular opinion, a lot of people don't feel that way. My own family doesn't feel that way, but I just feel like most of them are just guys doing a job. I don't see any reason to hate them, I don't see why he had to ask me about drugs and things. I guess I looked high. I don't feel like I wasn't high. I don't do drugs. So I don't really understand why that happened, but whatever. Apparently you can make short rope out of rags. It takes a lot of rags to make a short rope, though. Oh, that's a rope. I was thinking string. Why don't we make... Well, we made balaclava. I guess we could make boonie hats as well. What do we want to make? It needs to be 3, so this is the cutoff for the 3s. Shot shell belt. Non-disintegrating cloth ammo belt. Does it need to specify that it doesn't disintegrate? I don't understand. Which can hold up to 20 shotgun shells, notably less reliable than metal ammo belts. Yeah, one would think. Oh, so not a belt. I was thinking a bandolier, like you wear around your chest, like you see in the old westerns. But it's actually an ammo belt, as in you would feed this directly into a belt-fed weapon. That's interesting, actually. I didn't know that those existed in the game. Why don't we find something with a short requirement time? 25 minutes. Yeah, we'll go boonie hat. We don't have a lot of thread left. We'll just do 4. We should try at some point to see if we can repair the MBR vest. I really don't think we can. Our skill level is currently 3, which is not very good. If you remember, in many of my playthroughs, you actually need like tailoring 9 to repair the turnout gear, which I think is absolutely ridiculous that it has such a high requirement. I think that tailoring desperately needs a rework, which is something that they're doing anyway, is to rework tailoring, which will slow down. Like what we're doing right now in the future will not be very viable, because crafting things with tailoring will be much, much slower in the future unless you have a sewing machine. It's actually a really interesting project I've been keeping my eye on. There's not a lot of development going with that. I don't think people are currently working on anything special for that, but it is a project that has been worked on a little bit and will at some point come to fruition. And I'm pretty excited for that, because I think currently the way they handle tailoring is quite bad. It's by far, it's one of my least favorite skills in the game. Partly because it is necessary. It is very helpful to have a tailoring skill. Like the swimming skill is terrible and not useful at all, but the reality is you don't really need to use that in the game, so I don't care that it's broken and kind of silly. Tailoring is very much a requirement if you, for instance, want to repair your turnout gear or a molly pack. I don't think we would be able to repair a molly pack at our current skill. Why don't we try activating the sewing kit? And you'll see turnout coat. Oh, we can't even repair it because we don't have materials. But it's a very high skill requirement. We don't have felt either. Can't repair the scarf. Okay, we can repair the molly pack. Although with my luck, I'll get the 0.4%. You repair completely. Fantastic. That's actually really great. I didn't think our skill would be high enough to repair that. We don't have fur to repair this. Flame-resistant gloves would also require Nomex. Plus, they're not very good gloves anyway. We have tack gloves around here somewhere. Oh, we don't have tack gloves? Oh, it's probably on the filthy pile. Poor fit. Why aren't they? Oh, because they're armor. This is a clothing pile, not an armor pile. So we could put on the tack gloves. It's a little bit more encumbrance, but they have better protection, and they're less stupid, because fire-resistant gloves aren't super useful in the game. Not very often that you come across fire enemies or need fire protection on your hands. Why don't we see what we can cook? Let's check our... Where's our food pile? Food pile. What do we want? A lot of junk food. Unfortunately, not a lot of food that is good for our health, which is a real problem because we're trying to keep our health up. God, I hate this, but we should probably go out and forage is what I would say. To our current situation, I would say we need to be foraging for bee balm, and we can pick up more eggs and perishable food that will have a lower health consequence to it. Would give us the ability to get more tea, which again would be beneficial to our current health situation. The problem is it's just so freaking boring to repeatedly forage in the same areas over and over and over. Like it again, I know I just talked about this, but the common cold is so deeply frustrating to me that we've gotten this and had this persisted for 10 full days makes me furious. So I guess, I mean, we're running out of time on the episode. I guess we'll go do that. And then in the interim, I'll loot some more. I'll forage some more. And then load up the car in between episodes. I mean, I don't know what else to do. We need the bee balm. Anything scary up here? No. A lemming, not really a concern. All these cattails, of course, could be made into food. We can convert them to starch and then to flour, which is a pretty great long-term storage food if you've been playing for a while. However, we don't really have the food processors and things that would speed up that process, so it would take us a very long time to actually produce I think it would take like about 3 hours per batch of flour, I think. Could be wrong about that. It's been a while since I did that. Used to be, when I was first learning the game, that cattails and salt water were like my go-to food source because you could make them into flour. And then, of course, the salt, you could produce salt from the salt water, which also has quite a lot of value depending on what you're crafting. So, Dogbane, not what I'm looking for. Bee balm is what we want. Of course, the bee balm is such a low chance. We've already foraged almost all these tiles, so I think we should be heading north to get to some fresh tiles. Syringes, we already have enough of those. Loot everything as we go. Yeah, I think I've done enough foraging in this playthrough that I never want to forage in-game again. Pretty furious over the whole cold fiasco. Especially now that I know we have positive health. I don't really understand why we haven't recovered yet. Health is one of those stats, you know, I'm not 100% on what the maximum is or what the lowest safe number is, or for a cold, I don't even know if that really even factors into whether or not you recover from a cold or not. But I'm working on the principle that it does because I have to. It's the only thing I know that could possibly help. It's the only thing that I know we have control over that we can, you know, that can help us. So I really don't know what else I could be doing. And I also feel like these videos have been up now for a while, so people have already seen that I've been struggling with the common cold, and if there was an easy answer, I probably would have gotten it somewhere in the comments by now. So we're just going to continue looting, and of course finding no bee balm whatsoever, because why would we? Okay, grab some. Oh, it's tinder. I don't care about tinder. I thought you were nuts. Okay, gonna just, do this for another godforsaken, 20 minutes or whatever. Not a big deal. Yeah, so weird interaction with the police officer. I, of course, fixed my license plate light. I have 2 lights over my license plate, and one of them was out. And when the cop told me which one was out, he didn't even tell me the right one. He told me the incorrect, the incorrect one that didn't need fixed. So glad I checked that myself. I don't know. I'm not even saying like the cop did something wrong. It's just like, why all the extra hassle? Like, were my eyes bloodshot? Like, why did you so intently ask me about marijuana, then drinking, then prescription medication? Like, you obviously suspected I was doing something. And I feel like if they hadn't had to go to another call, then they would have continued to hassle me. Like, they would have asked me more questions and tried to pin down what was wrong with me, even though there's nothing wrong with me. And like, a lot of people get nervous around cops. I wasn't nervous. Like, I was perfectly normal. I spoke in full sentences. I had not been drinking or anything, so I don't know why that was on the tip of his tongue. You know, I don't know why. Whatever. I mean, probably just he was doing his job and there was a sign somewhere that I missed that he thought meant I was intoxicated or something, but mostly it was just a little irritating to be, I don't know, maybe I'm paranoid. I just felt like that wasn't the way you should treat just some random citizen. You know, I haven't done anything wrong. Maybe I'm rambling about this. So I want to point out we've looted like 100 of these and we haven't found a single freaking bee balm. Probably should call the episode here for now. Thanks for watching. Sorry that this was terrible. I'm probably going to loot off camera here to try and find some godforsaken bee balm. Then I will go back to base. I will load up our car with our with a lot of the valuable stuff we want to take with us. And then in the next episode, we'll probably head to the other lab because, again, I think that's the smart play, even if that's not very interesting because we've already done that quite a lot. So there's still plenty of things we could find in the lab that we haven't actually found yet. And if this god-awful cold ever goes away, we'll start mutating our character. But I'm pretty sure mutation tanks your health. So not great. Don't want to do that right now. So for now, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode. And I will be back with more every single day of the week. And I will see you in the next episode.